Hi everyone. One thing that seems to be a problem with a lot of artists is how to mix greys. Grey is a really good colour to have for shadow. It can be warmer, it can be cool. Now you can buy a tube of grey paint, but it's a little bit flat and uninteresting, so you're much better to make your own. It's the same with greens, mauves, all sorts of colours. If there's two different pigments involved, they're more interesting than one flat colour. So the way I do mine is basically based on the colour wheel. Now the colour wheel, and this is from my book Watercolours Unleashed, I've done it in a dandelion way. The colour wheel is set out to show you what colour sets another colour off. So in your work, if you're doing a painting and you've got a lot of green, red will really stand out. If you've got a lot of violet, yellow will really stand out. And if you've got a lot of orange, blue will really stand out. And that's how the colour wheel is set out. Yellow, orange, red, violet, blue and green. Now where the opposites on the colour wheel meet, like the green shows off the red, and the blue shows off the orange, and the yellow shows off the violet, where they meet they make grey. So that's a really handy tip to remember, because if you're doing a painting and you've got, say, cadmium red and sap green in a painting and you need a grey, mix those two together and they will make a grey. Or any other red and green will make a grey, and then you can use that as your shadow colour, and it ties everything in rather than bringing in other elements to the painting. So we've got red and green, orange and blue, violet and yellow, and that is how the colour wheel is set out for everyone to use. Everyone uses it to do with art and design, from interior designers, fashion designers and artists, because we all want our paintings to sing, and the way to do that is by using the opposite of what colour is your main colour on a piece of work, and make it stand out, make it shout out, make it vibrant. So bearing this in mind, the colour wheel, if you need a grey for shadows, I'll show you how to do it working from the colour wheel. Okay, so looking at the colour wheel now, I'm going to start with the red and the green. So I'm doing a basic red, which is something like cadmium red, and a kind of mid green like olive green or sap green or whatever. I can't remember what colours they are now in my palette, but if I let those two merge, can you see there the funny colour they're making, which makes grey? So you've got like a warm grey there because the red's involved. So now let's go to the yellow and violet. So this is probably cadmium yellow light or Windsor yellow or something like that. And then a nice violet. Let's merge those two. Can you see that grey there? That's quite a mid grey, isn't it? You know, that's a nice grey. And then we go to orange and blue. So I'll try and find ultramarine, something like that, because that looks like ultramarine dark. And there again, we've got like a warm grey because the orange is involved. But with the purple and violet, we've got a cooler grey. But at the end of the day, it's a grey. And if you were doing a wash and you use these colours in the wash, they would make grey when they merge. So there's a bit of a trick to get round that, which I'll do on another YouTube video for you to see. So there we have the orange and the blue, the yellow and the violet, and the red and the green, which are all on the colour wheel. This colour wheel is set out for everyone to use, but it's always like this, you know, the red opposite the green, the blue and the orange, and the yellow and violet, and they do make grey where they meet, so you can use that in your work when you're using these colours and everything will be tied together.